Hey, what's up, guys? It is Josh Thomas, aka DFS Up North. I'm here today, super excited to talk to you guys about the new lineup generator for PGA at FanshareSports.com. There's literally nothing else like it on the market. So, like as far as I know, this is I'm just blown away by. I can't even talk. I'm blown away at how impressed or how impressed I am at this generator. Not only is it fast, builds unreal lineups, it gives you the option to individually change players in your lineup if you're not feeling comfortable about it. You can adjust by average ownerships to say you don't want to have a chalky lineup. You want your guys to average only 5%. You can do it here. Builds 150 lineups in a snap of a finger. It's like so easy to use. It's ownership based. It generates your exposures for you. Like I really can't say enough. This is just for Fanshare Pro members. If you're not a member yet, Josh, 20% off Fanshare Pro membership. So let's get to it. Like I said, I am super excited about this, and I really want to show you guys what this looks like. So if you're a Fanshare Pro member, you're going to log in. When you log in, you're going to get your current event dashboard, right? So this is going to show you everything that you need to know about the event this week. All right. So right away, like I can go by projected ownership. We have the ownership in there. We can know who's projecting to be highly owned this week, and then kind of make our lineups from there. So the one key thing is if you're going to make lineups this week, you have to, or if you're going to make lineups any week, you have to star and make them a favorite. All right. That's how you create your player pool to build your lineups. If you don't have anybody favorited, not going to make any lineups. All right. So basically, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit through my process, how I go about it. I've already got some guys favorited here, but I'll go from there. So if you look in the middle here, we've got these, the CF for current form and CH for course history. All right. I know some people don't believe in course history, but I really think Torrey Pines is a place that if you've played there enough times, you're going to feel good about it. That's not necessarily going to mean that you're going to be a great play, but I think if you have a little green arrow means you're good. The fire means you're great. So I want those guys in my lineup. So when I'm building lineups in the lineup generator, those are the initial guys that I favorite. So I'm going to look course history. I'm looking for guys with the fire flame, and I will just click over here. It says Justin Rose has been removed. Now he's been added. Okay. So I'll add all these guys that have the fire. And I actually added quite a few more guys, just based on, kind of where my player pool is at and who I like. Lots of these guys I'm giving a lot of weight to course history this week. The other thing, now I go to current form, and I'm looking again for guys who have that fire flame, right? We want to see, guys who are playing well. Obviously, I think I don't want them in my pool. So you got guys like Scheffler, Rory, Carlos Ortiz, Henrik Norlander. I'm not in love with, but I don't mind the price at 6,500. And any of those guys with that fire flame, I am adding. Okay. And then I'm going to go to projected ownership. Okay. So I'm going to look and see, okay, who's going to be super chalky this week. All right. Gosh, I really like Ryan Palmer. But he's going to be arguably the chalk of the chalk. So maybe I want to get rid of him in my lineup. I can do that, right? Or I can keep him there and I can adjust his exposure later on. So I do have quite a few chalky plays here, but I am missing out on some. Joaquin Neiman's a guy I want to add. He does not have a course history green flame, but this guy's won junior titles here twice. He made the cut last year and didn't really perform well, but definitely a guy I want to get involved in. Colin Morikawa is another guy that doesn't have course history, but I'm very, very interested in this week. So I've got a ton of guys favorited right now. I think my player pool is at like 30-ish. So I'm going to go into the build section and show you how this works. Okay. So right now I've got all of these guys favorited. All right. I'm only going to build 30 lineups, right? So let's say I'm building for like the 20 max, the $4 20 max on DK, right? When I build lineups, I always want to build a little bit more. That gives me leeway. I can look at the lineups, see what I like, and then go from there. Min salary, all right? Right now it's 4,900 to 5,000 or 50,000. We saw last week that the optimal lineup was like 45.5, right? They left a bunch of money on the table. I have no problem leaving some money on the table here. So when I'm building, I'm typically almost always leaving that sort of salary here. Okay. Minimum target average projected ownership, we can, you can set a min here. We're just going to run it first and see what it looks like, and then we can set mins and max. But the one really, really cool thing that I love about this is the auto exposure. All right. So we have it set up so that you can make your lineups by guys who are mostly early, mostly late, only late. So if like we feel like there is a tee time advantage this week, it's like, let's say it looks like the PM guys are going to get a big advantage. This happens at like things like the British Open, or the Open Championship, as Lee would say. Sometimes at like the Players, things like that, where guys are going to get a wave advantage. We can build lineups with just that, which is awesome. I love it. We can look at the projections. Hey, we can optimize by DK points per dollar. So if I do that, all my player exposures have been recalculated. You can see that like a guy like Jason Day at 9,000, I'm getting a ton of, right? We project him to have quite a few points at $9,000. We're going to get a lot more of him as we kind of go down the list, right? And you see guys kind of, Brandon Hagee at $6,000 is only going to get 11% targeted ownership. All right, so we can do that. The other way to build exposures that I'm really excited about is stars and scrubs. All right, stars and scrubs basically is going to try to jam in as many of these high-priced above $9,500 guys as it can, and then as many below like $7,300 as it can. All right. Which is a really interesting way to build. So, but for today, we're just going to go optimize by DK points per dollar. Okay. We're going to just generate lineups. All right. See how long it takes me here. Should be pretty quick. This is, again, one of the faster generators that I've ever used, or lineup optimizers. So hopefully we don't have any issues here. It can come back with our target exposures. So while that's loading it, there we go. Okay. So we've got, let's see what it's telling me here. So not super accurate, but it generated 30 lineups for me at 57% accuracy. And as you roll through, you can see exactly what these lineups look like. And it's going to tell you the average projected ownership, how much money it's spent, and how much money is remaining. Right. So I got 30 lineups here. It's going to try to pump in 50,000 as much as possible. So we're not going to probably see a ton of low salaries, right? If you don't want to use your entire 50,000, what can you do here? You can just drop that down to 49. All right. Now let me show you something that's really cool. So let's look at this one. I have 49,400. So I have about 600 remaining. Okay. This is what, like, maybe my favorite feature about the lineup generators. I can click here, and this gives me a list of all the players that I can swap out. So let's say I'm not super interested in Tony Finau, right? I can just plug in Hideki Matsuyama, and now that lineup has changed. It's going to show me my total spend. It's going to change my projected ownership, all of that goodness. Let's say we look at this lineup and we're like, this lineup's trash. Boom, get rid of it. Yep, I want to remove that lineup. Okay, so if I was going to build 20, right, I'd have to get rid of 10. So I can look at all of them and say, okay, these are the ones that I'm not super excited about, and as you delete or whatever, it's going to change your ownership here. So this little number in here is going to show you your targeted exposure. And this is what the actual. So my target for Rory was 20, but my resultant exposure was 31. Let's look at Jason Day. I bet you it gave me a ton. Yep, it loves Jason Day this week, right? So, if I'm seeing that, what can I do? I can go in and start to say like, oh, like I want Sung Jae there, right? I can start to change these things and like look at how quick this goes, right? Like, oh, let's go Scotty Scheffler here, or if I can drop down, let's drop down to Ricky, and then I can jump up to like a Gary Woodland maybe, or Justin Rose, right? So you can really just, it's very intuitive. I love the drop downs, and you can, build however you want, right? Let's look for minimum target average projected ownership. Let's say we're going for 5. We don't want super chalky lineups. Let's see if I can build it within 12. All right. Let's say my average ownership is 12. That's still fairly chalky, but not crazy. Let's see if it'll let me do it. Sometimes, right, if it's not going to let you do it, then you just need to change your minimum target average, right? To go through and see, hey, this isn't working, and now let's go back and change it again. Let's see what it pops up here. Again, it's like, this is so intuitive, right? 57% accuracy. I got 30. Looks good, right? I can go back through again. I'm getting a ton of Jason Day. Let's see what happens if I get rid of Jason Day. All right. Yes, I want to remove Jason Day from my favorite list. Let's see what let's see what my lineups look like now. Okay, so now I don't have any. I got to change my exposures here. Let's go optimize by DK. And every time you like remove a player like that, you're going to want to go back and do that because it's going to change everybody's exposure. You're not going to get the 600 limit that you need because the generator wants it to be that optimal ownership percentage with all your guys. So now we remove Jason Day. So let's like, this is what you would do. Maybe like you get a guy showing up a ton. You want a little less of him, right? So a little more accurate here, but I can still get Jason Day into these lineups, right? Not that hard to do. Getting lots of, so I can just get rid of Tony. I would have to actually add Jason Day back. I can make my target exposure 0 to get him in there, but let's see what it looks like if we go to stars and scrubs, right? It's telling me that it's a little bit over. You can still generate, but try to say, yep, it's going to do that because it's going to kind of forget about that middle tier of players. So I would imagine that when we look at the lineups here, it's going to give me a ton of guys that are, above 10K and then a bunch of duds, right? And I think that's actually a very interesting strategy this week because we've seen that kind of play out here before. So yeah, so we look at this lineup. I've got Rory, John, and then, all of these duds, right? Dougie Gibb, Scott Brown, some of these guys that, Sepp Straka, who I think is going to be pretty chalky, Taylor Gooch, right? Guys who have played well here in the past, right, are guys who I have in my player pool. So once you get, down to 20 lineups, whatever you want, it's super easy to just download a CSV of those lineups. They pop in right here. We open it up. Boom. I copy and paste this. I copy and paste it over to, the DK, the DK lineup editorial, and then we're ready to go. So like, honestly, guys, like I am so pumped about this generator. There's a ton of stuff that you can do. You can, build chalky lineups. You can build not chalky lineups. I love the little drop down box that I can change who I want in and out, right? It's so intuitive. They did such a good job on this. Like it's 150. If those of you who build 150 lineups, maybe you're playing the mini max, like you can get 150 lineups in 10 seconds, which is unbelievable, right? So again, if you're not a Fanshare Pro member, use that code Josh, 20% off Fanshare Pro membership. Get in. You are missing out on arguably one of the best PGA optimizers. Like I love it. It's so fun to use. And I'm excited to test it out this week on DraftKings. So again, please check us out, fansharesports.com. You can always find me at DFS Up North. And we'll see you guys later. Thanks.